Hey everyone, welcome to the Roto Grinders Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevie TPFL. It's October, it's the 5th, it's 2016. It's Wednesday, and instead of talking about 15 baseball games, we're going to talk about a few, and we're going to talk about some NBA, we're going to talk some NFL, we're going to talk about whatever we want. It's just that day. And I'm not solo today. Siege, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing peachy. I'm excited that we get to see a Toronto-Texas series. I can't lie. As a baseball fan, first and foremost, I just want to see what's going to happen with this series. And how would you approach it? Like, we know the background. We know the history here with this game. If you're Toronto or Texas, are you hitting anybody in the first inning of this first game?
No.
Just, hey, I'm asking.
You play the game. Let's go. You don't. The umpires can be super oversensitive. You don't need MLB starting to hand suspensions and giving away the series. You got to play it out. You took care of that business in April.
I'm throwing my first pitch at Texas head.
Yeah, I'm sure you would, but
right over the batter's head, first guy that steps in the box in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, well, and I don't think I would rile up the opposing team like that. I would just make them think. It's just the intimidation factor of knowing that it could happen at any time. You don't just get it out of the way so they know it won't happen. I don't know who said that. It was famously some manager was just like, "We're not going to hit them in the first inning. We might not hit them again this year. They'll never know, but they'll know it might come." And I just thought that was great.
Yeah, for sure. So baseball-wise, we have a 2-game slate on Thursday. But before we get into that, let's talk about our sponsor over at Rosters.com. If you guys haven't checked out Rosters.com, make sure you head on over there. Use that promo code GRINDERS. That way you guys get incentives here at Roto Grinders for draft for free or for rosters for free for a year. And you get a 100% deposit bonus I think it's like a 4% drip. So that's definitely something you guys want to check out. They're giving away an all-expenses-paid trip for 2 to the Super Bowl. If you head on over there, if you play $100 in NFL and cash in the Kickoff GPP, the $25 tournament, either one of those to get you a championship entry ticket. And we found out today, we were talking about before we went live, they sent out the list and everything like that. And the max entries for this thing is 8. Like, you only get one per $100 spent, and you only get one. So, like, the most you can get on a weekend is 2. So, like, that changes everything.
Yeah. I mean, now I'm really in trouble. It's really what this comes down to. I didn't realize. I was planning on playing catch-up, and now I'm going to be way behind the 8 ball. So I need to get 2 tickets each of the next 2 weeks to get the 5. And I'm really mad. I did not understand the promo, which is probably my own fault. And now I'm just like, ugh, I love the Super Bowl, and I want to go. So this needs to happen.
Yeah, it says it. Step 2, repeat step 1 each week. Everyone is eligible to earn entries in between week now, and then you can earn a maximum of 8 possible entries. So it says it right there on the promo, but
we don't read. Since when do we read?
Reading's hard.
It is hard. That's why we talk for a living instead of having to read and write. Try that noise.
A couple housekeeping notes before we get started on the pod today. If you guys haven't checked out the daily marketplace, my NASCAR package is in there, and it's been super successful. I'm super happy about it. Last week was a little tough with the race, but for the most part, it's been super good. And if you guys haven't checked that out, check that out. Also launching here today, I want to give a shout out to BB Bomb, the MMA guy here at Roto Grinders, launched a premium MMA package over there in the daily marketplace. So make sure you guys head on over to the daily marketplace, check that out. My NASCAR package, just spend that $10. It's only $10, Siege.
I mean, I've spent it. Don't look at me.
Yeah. I'm biased, of course, but that's for sure. So, all right, let's talk baseball real quick. We're not going to spend a ton of time on this, but we're going to be doing football on the podcast tomorrow. So let's talk about this Thursday 2-game slate. We honestly don't know who's pitching in the Blue Jays-Rangers game. We are speculating it's going to be Darvish and Aaron Sanchez. I just don't see him really going any other way here.
I can't imagine going anywhere else. Where would you go? I mean, it's just – I think that's why I'm not playing 2K slates, I guess. Like, I'm all day for Contrarian Life, but Contrarian Life sounds like suicide on this slate.
It was a lot easier to be contrarian on this slate than it was today's slate, Tuesday's slate, where it was Toronto and Baltimore and Rogers Center, or San Francisco and New York in Citi Field with Bumgarner and Thor. So, like, this slate's a little bit different.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So we don't know who's pitching that game. It'd be an interesting series to just pay attention to. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then our Red Sox are in Cleveland taking on the Indians. Porcello and Bauer have already been announced in that game. Like,
Trevor Bauer starting game 1. Oh, man.
He is.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Like, I know this could come back to bite me, and people will throw this clip right back in my face if we lose the series, but having Bauer on track to start games 1 and 5, I mean,
couldn't ask for anybody else.
If we lose, we deserve it, I guess, at that point.
Well, they lost Carrasco, so they're down to Bauer, Kluber.
Yeah, Kluber, Bauer. Huh. Let's think. Who do I want to start?
I get it. Like, I don't get it why they're starting Bauer over Kluber. They have to have a reason.
Tell that to Buck Showalter.
Oh, do we really want to go there? Like, do we really?
I mean, and props for just saying that he didn't want to pitch him, I guess. I don't know. I just think it's hilarious.
Like, how do you pitch the E5 there with first and third? Like, that's the first argument.
How's the infield in when you E5 is one of the slowest people ever and you can get a double play like you have like the last 5 times in this game?
Yeah, like, even if you do corners in, like, why is your middle infield in there? Why?
Yeah, like, you can't limit your range there. You just got to maximize your range. Edwin's slow enough. Like, you can be back in the middle and still get him.
Yeah, he's not going to lay down a squeeze.
No.
And if you lose to an E5 squeeze, like,
go ahead. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah, against Ubaldo, who's one of the most unpredictable pitchers ever. Like, if you run a squeeze there and you lose to it, you know what? So be it.
Like, that's probably the last person I would have called from that bullpen.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, I don't know, man. I think I would have went to the young arm and Bundy or something before that.
Britton in innings 8 and 9, and then you've got Brock innings 10, 11, and then you start dealing with it after that. Like,
well, you had O'Day. O'Day pitched really well.
Yeah, you could even use O'Day in innings 12 and 13. That's fine. Like, but you can't. You got to put your best guy out there first and just expand outward. Like, you remember 2004? Like, it was like the 15th inning, and we had like Curtis Lescandic in the mound. You know, like, that's the way it's gonna go. Like, it makes it more stressful, but you have to throw your best arms out there first and give you a chance to extend the game.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it just comes to, we're not managers. We don't get paid to be managers, but, like, we probably look at just as much statistics as managers.
You would think so.
All right. That's baseball. There's not much to talk about there with the baseball thing. It's a 2-game slate. We'll touch more on it on Friday. We have a 4-game slate on Friday. Kluber and Price in that game on Friday has already been announced. We'll have Kershaw on the mound. Like, Friday we'll at least have a 4-game slate to talk about.
That'll be fun.
It's always fun when there's Kershaw on the mound.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Guys, you don't need to choose between price and quality to get an amazing, affordable shave. DollarShaveClub.com is the answer. To prove how amazing their first shave really is, right now they're going to give you your first month free to join the club. DollarShaveClub.com delivers amazing razors right to the door for a third of the price. What the greedy razor corporations charge. Seriously, I have no reason to deal with the drugstore hassle and battle the locked-up razor fortress ever again, and neither will you when you join the Dollar Club. Just go to DollarShaveClub.com, pick a razor that works for you from their lineup of amazing blades. That's all that there is to do. I get it a first-class shave when I use the executive blade, and when I use it, their Dr. Craver shave butter, the blade just gently glides to the smoothest shave ever. And we all know that Stevie needs a shave. Like, that's a thing, this beard. With DollarShaveClub.com, you look, smell, and shave like $1 million without paying for it. Here's a chance to see why over 3 million members like me love Dollar Shave Club. Dollar Shave Club is so confident in the quality of all their products. Now you can get the first month of the club for free. Just pay shipping. After that, it's just a few bucks a month. No long-term commitment. No hidden fees. There's no reason not to do it. Get your at dollarshaveclub.com/roto. That's dollarshaveclub.com/roto. Like I said, we all know Stevie has to shave, and we all know that I like to be in the AC here in Florida, so Dollar Shave Club is perfect for me. Check them out. Let's talk some basketball, Siege. We have a little 3-game preseason slate tonight. Nothing crazy. Do you have any interesting picks here on this little slate?
No. I mean, we guess we got to see what the Clippers do on the back end of the back-to-back. The Clippers now are not getting doubled up. This has been an interesting battle to watch the entire game. It is now 96-49 heading to the end of the third quarter. So Clippers ×2 beating the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they say anything with the minutes on a back-to-back. I would expect Jordan and Paul and Griffin maybe not even to play or see very limited minutes here.
Paul only played 13 minutes, so he might play tomorrow, but I would just expect DeAndre to get the day off.
Yeah, 22 minutes. The biggest standout, like right now, we have almost a whole quarter left, and Austin Rivers getting a lot of minutes tonight.
Yeah, and then I think the back end of the benches are going to come in soon. But just interesting to see what we can get out of Patrick McCaw. He's only played 8 minutes so far. The starter's got about 20 to 23 minutes here. Kind of what we expected after Steve Kerr came out late and said they would. It was super late. It was like after everything had locked and you were kind of squared in. But I got a little Curry and Clay, so that was helpful at the very least. But yeah, Patrick McCaw, hopefully we can crush some garbage time here.
I'm a Magic fan, so I'll touch on the Magic real quick. A couple things you want to pay attention to: Aaron Gordon, Elfrid Payton, Serge Ibaka. If not out, there's probably a good chance these 3 guys don't play.
I think that's a fair assessment.
And Evan Fournier is the one guy that I think I'd target here. He obviously, with Oladipo gone, is going to be the shooter on this team, so expect 20 to 24 minutes here from Fournier and expect him to shoot the 3-ball.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
Is Irving playing? I think Irving's out too, right?
I honestly haven't dug too far into this yet. Let's type in Kyrie Irving on Twitter, see what we get.
No, he won't play is what it says.
Yeah. Can't get back on that court. I'm just kidding. I made a Derrick Rose 2.0 joke, and some Cleveland fans did not take that very well.
Oh, yeah, don't say that. They're saying he's healthy. They're just giving him a day off of rest.
And well,
first preseason game of the year. Let's give you guys a rest.
Yeah. Can we pivot back to Zach Britton? He says he's perfectly healthy and frustrated he didn't pitch.
Oh, did he really?
Yep.
Oh, Buck's fired.
That or this is the world's best con. Let's just say that.
Oh, man. Did he really say that?
According to Bob Nightingale of USA Today. I'm going to go ahead and assume it happened.
Oh, man. Oh, Buck. We went under the assumption he had to be hurt, that he didn't come in that game right there. Put E5 on, bring in your best pitcher against their best hitter.
Yep, for sure.
Oh, man, that tilts me even more. So, that's the Magic in Cleveland. Utah, Phoenix. I guess we could look at maybe Derek Favors in this game.
Yeah, I think Favors would be the guy I have the most interest in. I think you can definitely look at Devin Booker. I definitely think you can go ahead and look at some of the other options on the Suns. The Suns are a pretty deep team. They played a really slow-paced game against the Spurs, but the Spurs are going to do that to you. Devin Booker took 13 shots in that game. I have a lot of interest in that. Other than that, though, it kind of was just a whole lot of guys playing a bunch of minutes. I really don't think there's anybody else you can kind of trust on the team other than Booker.
Yeah, and looking at the Jazz side of things, like it was pretty spread out minutes-wise. Nobody shot the ball more than 10 times in this game. See a lot of 8 and 9s out of the starters, but I think Favors is your target here against a Phoenix team that we'd like to pick on with big guys.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think that's definitely the way I would approach it.
Man, we just broke down a 3-game basketball slate, a 2-game baseball slate, and we're like 15, 20 minutes into the pod.
Well, we didn't talk about Toronto yet.
Oh, do we want to talk? We talked about the Clippers. Let's talk about Toronto then.
Yeah, Toronto's interesting. They've been playing a bunch of games really everywhere. So you got to be careful. They've been kind of resting guys, playing guys. Um, I still think Sycam is a good play. Had a really good game the first game, rough game the second game, but Terrence Ross scored 23 real life points. I'm going to go ahead and assume that's not going to happen ever again, especially in the preseason. So I think Sycam is a guy that people were on and will get off a little bit. Don't mind Norman Powell or Joseph, too. They took a bunch of shot attempts as well.
Yeah, Powell was the guy that stood out to me. He's going to be shooting here for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that breaks down that. So let's talk a little general strategy here for basketball. Obviously not preseason strategy. Preseason, we're just trying to guess the minutes. I guess that goes into the regular season too. That's something that on a nightly basis at the end of the day, we're trying to guess minutes, usage, and, pace and, high total games.
Yeah, I definitely think usage rates are kind of the most important thing. As NBA season wears on, you'll see that a lot of times you get news late and, people will obviously gravitate towards minutes immediately, but sometimes usages will change dramatically and make that guy a poor play. Examples of that could be Kyle Anderson and Jonathan Simmons for the Spurs. They go play the small forward for like Kawhi Leonard. Well, they're not going to get the usage that they get when they're on the second unit. So those are kind of things you got to consider as well.
Projecting minutes using the Roto Grinders alerts for basketball is the key ingredient. Basketball, we get so much news at the end, and you have to be able to adjust to that. I would say probably 30 to 40% of the time, we have at least a little information on guys if they're banged up, so we can at least have a strategy plan if this guy sits. But, there's still those times where just a random guy gets sick and he takes a night off and we find out 5 minutes before the game.
Yep, and you got to be ready to go. A lot of that stuff, we'll talk about that more in depth, I think, on another podcast. I could talk about hours about this kind of stuff. I think it's kind of where DFS NBA is going to go next. It's one of my favorite things to talk about, but we don't have enough time on 1 hour podcast, to be honest.
Yeah, we're gonna do a preview pod for basketball maybe next week before we get in, what we did for football. Kind of just go over general strategy, so guys be on the lookout for that. I just, we don't have a lot to talk about today, so I wanted to chit chat about basketball. It is the next season that's coming up. Baseball is winding down. Football is in week 5 already. Can you believe it? Football's in week 5 already.
Yeah, man, that's just nuts.
It's just, it comes and it goes so fast. NASCAR's winding down, and it's just basketball's next. So that's what we're gonna, shift gears. We're gonna be doing what we did for baseball. So if you guys enjoyed the baseball morning grind, basketball is gonna be the same thing. We're gonna break down every game. It's gonna be a lot harder for basketball because it's so last minute news wise, but it's still gonna be fun, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be harder to try to think of a home run derby game for basketball, though.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. I don't know how we're going to do that. Like points, rebounds, and assists and separate them? That's not very helpful. We'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, maybe the best chance for a double-double or something like that.
We'll take suggestions. Hashtag RGMG.
There you go. Look at Siege, company man, using that hashtag. And I just want to go on the record. I want to change our name from Team Crazy to Team MG.
We can do that.
We are crazy, and I'm a tournament player, so I don't play any cash games for basketball. So my strategy for basketball might be different than a lot of people's, but I don't even look at defensive versus position. I think it's the most overrated thing in the world. I don't care if they're playing a number 1 team, unless it's the Spurs. I don't play anybody against the Spurs.
Yeah, I can't imagine playing anybody against the Spurs either.
Oh, all right. Well, that does some basketball talk. That does some baseball talk. CJ, I'm going to pull up some lines here for football, and let's have a little fun with this. And have you looked at lines at all yet for football?
No, I haven't. Not one bit.
All right. Well, don't pull it up. We're going to have some fun with this before we get out of here. I'm going to give you guess that line. We're going to play guess that line with CJ. Don't pull it up. Don't cheat.
I'm not going to cheat. I haven't looked at all this week.
All right. 43.5 -4 on the West Coast. Who do you think?
Oh, that requires knowing what the hell the games are. Can I pull up a list of games?
Well, you
without
could pull up
spreads.
you could pull up rosters or FanDuel or DraftKings.
Yeah. Let's pull up DraftKings. And you get is this game on the main slate? You tell me that? Are you
All
gonna do
right,
games?
we'll go main slate only, but that was the Thursday night game. Arizona at San Francisco, -4, 43.5.
Who's -4?
Arizona.
Must be some positive Carson Palmer news that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, this line's been moving a lot.
And I must think Carson Palmer was going to play with that news.
Opened up at 22.5. It's at 23.7 now for
that has to be Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer has to be in. All right, here we go. I got a list of the games now.
All right, I'm gonna mix it all up here on you. 47.5, 4.5 favorites, and the favorite is at home.
Okay. So a couple options here. It's 47.5. Well, that's a pretty high total.
It's the second high, it's the third highest total on the board this weekend.
Oakland over San Diego?
Negative. We'll give you three guesses.
Detroit over Philly.
No.
Pittsburgh over the Jets.
You're not right. It's Indy. Chicago at Indy. Indy is a -4.5 favorite. And
that's absurd. That's absurd. Coming back from London, they're 4.5-point favorites. Yeah, okay. Let's move on. That's insane.
Against Chicago in Indy.
Yeah, no, I don't care.
With the third highest total on the board. Like, we're going to talk more about, like, getting into these games.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that tomorrow.
Highest total on the weekend, and actually the line's pretty close right now at 3.5 favorites for somebody.
Philly, Detroit?
No.
Said highest total on the slate is not Philly, Detroit. Interesting. Okay.
It's
San Diego, Oakland?
Hold on. Where's Philly, Detroit? It's a lot lower total. We'll play guess that line here in a minute for Detroit, Philly.
Oh my God.
What was your next guess?
San Diego, Oakland?
That is the highest total. San Diego or Oakland favored in this game, 3.5.
Okay. All right. I can see that. That's a justifiable answer, Vegas. I will allow it.
All right. Game total of Detroit or Philly at Detroit. What do you think it is?
And you said the highest total was 47.5, right?
The highest total is 50 at Oakland, San Diego.
And this should be 48.5?
No.
Higher or lower?
Lower.
That's too low. 47?
Lower.
Oh, that's way, way, way too low. Way too low. 45?
It's 46.
Yeah, that's too low. That's just too low.
Let's see. Which game do you think has the lowest total on the board this weekend?
Let's see. There's two candidates I think that really jump off the page. Houston, Minnesota, and Buffalo, LA.
Minnesota, Houston doesn't have a line yet, and it is Buffalo, LA.
Yeah, okay. Those are definitely the two lowest ones I would have thought were the lowest for sure.
40 and LA's favored 2.5 in that game.
Yeah, that's a complete stay away.
I actually think the LA defense is interesting for tournaments.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Well, they could actually stop McCoy a little bit and make
Tyrod. Yeah, he can make mistakes. Pick sixes are probably in play there.
Who do you think the biggest you already know this.
That's Tom Brady, of course.
Yeah. It hasn't moved at all, though.
What is it, 10.5?
10.5 still.
Yeah, sounds about right.
That money line is -500.
That honestly feels like minus 500 is pretty high, but can't imagine them losing this game. But that's why you play the games, right?
Well, New England obviously has the highest team total at 28.5. You want to try to guess who has the second highest team total?
Oakland.
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah, neither one of the teams from the highest total of the weekend. Implied totals, of course, obviously.
Colts?
No.
Packers?
Come on, CJ. Just think Monday Night Football.
You said main slate only.
I think Monday Night Football last week. Think about the three Bs.
Monday Night Football last week. Why can't I think of? Oh, Bradford.
No, come on. Bell, Brown, and
Pittsburgh.
Ben.
Yeah. That was Sunday Night Football. Look at this. You're giving me all this misleading information, Stevie.
That was Sunday Night Football. I'm so tilted.
Look at this.
What
is this nonsense? These trap questions. You can't even tell me what days the game we're playing on. Come on now.
I'm so tilted that Walsh missed a 46-yard field goal that cost me a couple grand. So I kind of forgot about the Monday Night Football game.
Understandable.
So, yeah, totals wise, nothing else really stands out to me. Miami, Tennessee, that game's ugly, really ugly, 43.5 total there. I would probably actually bet the under in that game.
Yeah.
That's going to be an ugly football game. What about Atlanta at Denver? What do you think the total is there? Because that one I thought was a little high.
Yeah, I was thinking it's probably going to be a little higher than I think, too, because the Atlanta defense is just terrible. And I think Atlanta is good enough to at least get some Vegas respect. I was going to say like 45.5.
A little bit higher.
46?
Go another point.
47?
That's what I said. I thought that total was high.
That total's higher than Philly, Detroit? That makes no sense.
It is.
Like, that's a lot of overreaction for Detroit playing 2 games outside in a row. Like, that's just a massive overreaction.
There's been a lot of line here. Like, Atlanta's team implied total started at 20.5. It went up to 21 and then came back down to 20.75.
Yeah, that's a lot of respect for Atlanta. I don't know if that's really – I mean, maybe, like, Denver just wins the game by more than people think. Like, Denver could be the sneaky offense here. But, like – yeah, I think Philly Detroit's just going to be a track meet indoors.
We're going to talk about that game tomorrow. Don't you worry.
That's good. It sounds like you're excited for it too. That makes me feel much better.
Yeah, there's a quarterback that I love in that game, and it's not Stafford.
Yeah, it's good. We're definitely on the same page with that game. You going to play that guy in cash?
I've actually thought about it a couple times this week.
Me too. All right, good. We're on the same page.
We'll talk about it, obviously, tomorrow. For you guys that love the football podcast, the football podcast has been the nuts the last 2 weeks. We have a lot riding on this next. Can we do it 3 weeks in a row? That's what it.
I mean, we've really set the bar high. Last week was some of our best work. So, like, the bar is high.
All right. Before we get out of here, FanDuel Sunday Million, obviously, this past week was really interesting. 204 points took to win it. Congratulations to IK Skidin 25. He took first, second, and sixth in this tournament, and that's impressive. Really impressive. Looking at his lineup real quick, CJ, do you want to try to guess his quarterback wide receiver combo that he had?
I'm going to go ahead and say Matt Ryan, Julio Jones.
So this is back to what we were talking about on the pod earlier this week for ownership percentages. Like, we knew Jordan Howard was going to be chalky, and he had Jordan Howard in this lineup.
Didn't matter. He was still not even that highly owned. What was he owned like?
In this, he was 21.3%.
That was just too low. He was 5,600 on FanDuel for a running back that's going to get that many touches. That's just way too valuable.
This guy put up 204 points with Jeremy Maclin in his lineup.
So what did he play? Crabtree?
He had Crabtree.
Yeah, so if we made a dream team, if we had made a podcast lineup, so we would have had these first 3 guys for sure. We would have had Howard.
We wouldn't have had LeSean McCoy. I was not on McCoy at all.
No, I was off him. My script kept trying to put him in there, and I kept kicking him out. I was like, no, I don't need LeSean McCoy, even though I think this is a Patriots spot where they can get caught. No, don't give any McCoy. Just get them all out.
We talked about Jordan Reed.
Yeah, love Jordan Reed. I loved him this week. One of my favorite tournament plays. And I just kept getting higher and higher on him as the week went on.
I just don't understand how that wasn't just obvious. Like,
people just were like, there's a situation, right, where I talked about where touches and targets are great, but you also have to remember, like, the bigger picture, right? Like, their target share have been split so evenly 4 ways. I was like, but eventually they're going to remember that Jordan Reed's a red zone beast, and he's going to get back to that 40% red zone target share he should be at. Like, positive touchdown regression is coming. Do it now. Don't be late.
Yeah.
We talked about that in the pod, too.
Yeah. So let's look at the winning team from the Millionaire Maker on DraftKings this week. Full point PPR. It just goes back to you don't necessarily have to have low-owned options. Like, Terrell Pryor was in the Millionaire Maker team. This guy scored 245 points. He had Matt Ryan. He had Julio Jones, obviously. But you want to talk about a team that was not chalky at all, but all of these guys were in good spots that people just overlooked. He had Isaiah Crowell, and Washington run defense is not great. He put up 25. He had Elliott, who you and I both talked about. That San Francisco game was perfect for Elliott. Pryor, Julio Jones, Steve Smith, who I talked about on the podcast, Jordan Reed. And this guy, you nailed this guy so much last week. You said not to play Kevin White and to play Eddie Royal, and he scored 27.1 points last week.
Yeah, it was a great call. I should have come back and listened to the podcast. That would have been really helpful. Could have used that one.
Arizona defense. So congratulations to those. What's your thoughts on this lineup? Like going into a build here, like if you're going to play Julio, looking at Matt Ryan, obviously pairing them is not bad, but Crowell, Elliott, and both of those running backs were in solid spots.
Yeah, we talked about Crowell, I think. Or maybe I got on him after that. I know I talked about him late last week. But yeah, Ezekiel Elliott too was just in a good spot, pace up game. Like it was a really sharp lineup. Like it sounds like the guy knew what he was doing.
And it looks like this was his third lineup, according to what this says here.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me. It's a pretty sharp lineup.
Nothing else really stands out to me. Just was looking at the tournament report. I know one thing. Me and you have some work to do. We're down 1-0 already in this football series, and I'm super tilted about.
That's a lot of my fault. I completely forgot about it Sunday morning, and you were kind of just left on your own. I left you out to dry, so you can go ahead and put that one on me. Although we had no business losing to Travis Kelce. Did you hear what Dan said on XM?
No.
So I was listening. My buddy texted me. He's like, "Oh, you just got a shout out on XM." So I quickly fired up my phone, and it was a Roto-Grinder show, and they were talking about our battle. And then Dean was like, "Yeah, you got a touchdown from Kelce late to win it in cash." And then Dan just goes, "You played Kelce in cash?" And I just couldn't help but get a smile because that was my initial reaction when you told me the same thing.
I was shocked, man. I was shocked they played Kelce in cash.
For Team Chalk, that was not a very Chalk-like performance there. I just got to say that.
Do we want to call Dean out? Like his tweet, I played 3 cash lineups and that was my lowest scoring one. Can we call him out on that too? Like,
yeah. Well, since when did you become a part of Hedge Life?
Like, who plays 3 cash lineups?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let's just say, I hope he keeps playing 3 because Murphy's Law says he's going to keep playing the worst one against us, so that's good for us.
Yeah, keep doing that for us. Appreciate it. So real quick before we get out of here, if you're playing baseball on DraftKings, they opened up a 3-game slate for Wednesday night.
Have fun with that.
Dude, Thorne, Syndergaard, and Bats. I missed the Bats. I'm so mad that I didn't have any.
You just want to completely refire?
I do.
Just do the exact same thing you tried to do today and just hope it works this time around.
I got a full game stack with Baltimore and Toronto, and I got nothing. No home runs out of my stacks with Bumgarner and Syndergaard. So I'm going back to the well.
Well, at least if you're already invested in it, you may as well go fire it back one more time.
Whatever, right? Like at this point, whatever. It's that part of the season where you're firing 1 or 2 for fun anyway, just to follow along with the game. So, but that's gonna do it. I know that we didn't have a lot to talk about. I hope we were entertaining enough that you guys want to listen to the football podcast tomorrow. For my bankroll's sake, I hope you guys don't listen to the football podcast tomorrow. It stinks. You guys definitely don't want to listen to it for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, that's about it.
I have one final thought, CJ.
All right.
If you're playing a 3-game baseball slate and a 3-game NBA preseason slate or a 2-game baseball slate or a 4-game baseball slate, don't risk a lot of your bankroll. You have to have the nuts in these kind of things.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more with that.
All right. That's going to be my final thoughts. I actually sounded smart there, so I'm going to end on that. If you guys enjoyed, we'll be back tomorrow. Good luck in your contests tonight, whatever they may be, and we'll see you then.